At the end of the medieval period in Europe, the secrets of science were an important and interesting subject. During the Middle Ages, attention was given to scientific experiments and knowledge, but these experiments faced various religious and governmental obstacles, which prevented much scientific research from reaching the public. The medieval period in Europe began around the 5th century AD and lasted until the 15th century. This era is commonly referred to as the Dark Ages, as intellectual progress was slow and scientific research became limited. One of the main reasons for this was the dominance of religious power. During this period, the Catholic Church was the most powerful institution in most European countries, and its teachings had a profound impact on social, cultural, and scientific life. The Church consolidated its authority by controlling knowledge and research, suppressing any theories and investigations that could conflict with religious beliefs. The power of the Church was so great that those who opposed it were subjected to torture or even horrific punishments, such as being burned alive. A famous event that highlights the scientific restrictions of this period is the case of Galileo Galilei. Galileo strengthened the heliocentric theory of Copernicus through his experiments and observations. When he stated that the Earth revolves around the Sun, the Church considered it heresy and imprisoned him for refusing to change his beliefs. Galileo was forced to abandon this theory for the rest of his life. It is also important to note that most scientific research and education during this period was under the supervision of the Church. Any scientific or philosophical theory that contradicted the Church's teachings was immediately stopped. If a scholar or researcher worked on a controversial theory, they would face various kinds of punishment. Many of the well-known scientists and philosophers of that time worked under the influence of this powerful religious institution, continuing to work on their theories and research. For example, philosopher Thomas Aquinas incorporated church teachings into his philosophy, but his ideas were heavily restricted because they did not entirely align with religious principles. Scientific experiments of the period were also actively suppressed in various ways. Any research that could test theories about humans was banned on the basis of religious traditions. For instance, to present any theory on human biology or physics, one needed permission from the Church, and those theories that went against the Church's teachings, such as questions about the creation of the world, were considered extremely dangerous. Another event that illustrates this is from the 13th century, when the famous philosopher and physicist Robert Graham, a significant scientific thinker, faced severe backlash for his research. His investigations shed light on various fields of science, but his theories conflicted with the Church's teachings, leading to pressure on him, and he was silenced. The Church's influence extended beyond just scientific research. Its role grew in every aspect of life. Its impact was also felt in politics, the arts, and literature. For a certain period, most European states were under the influence of the Church, and governmental decisions were also made under its guidance. In certain regions and periods, scientific experiments took place, but these experiments faced difficulties in spreading to the public. One major reason for this was the religious and social barriers that limited the process of scientific research. During this time, scientific advancements in fields like astronomy, medicine, and physics remained largely hidden, and there was little open discussion on them. These conditions arose due to the religious principles of the time, government oversight, and the social structure, which acted as constraints on scientific theories and research. For instance, the teachings and theories of ancient Greek philosophers like Aristotle and Plutarch were highly valued, and their intellectual legacy was considered the standard for science. Under their teachings, the Earth was considered the center of the universe, and this theory prevailed in the scientific world for a long time. In contrast, the scientific theories proposed by modern researchers were given less importance because they did not align with the teachings of ancient Greek philosophers. As a result, obstacles arose in the path of scientific progress, and there was strong resistance to accepting new theories. In astronomy, there were also experiments that did not reach the public. For example, Copernicus's theory that the Earth revolves around the Sun went against the religious beliefs of the time, which led to its rejection. When he proposed this theory, it was heavily criticized, and the Church opposed it, as religious beliefs at that time considered the Earth to be the center of the universe. Copernicus's theory was not allowed to spread to the public, and it remained silenced for a long time. Similarly, in the field of medicine, scientific experiments faced challenges due to religious influences. During the Golden Age of the Muslims, the importance of medicine was growing, But in Europe, the strict religious oversight and regulations at the time created barriers to modern medical research. During this period, the revival of Greek medicine and physical research by Muslims took place, but this knowledge remained largely unrecognized in European society. For example, Ibn Sina's Canon of Medicine made numerous advancements in the medical field, but in Europe, this book was confined to only certain circles. In the field of physics, scientific experiments were suppressed by religious traditions and governmental oversight. The scientific theories of the time often conflicted with religious beliefs, which meant they were not publicly accepted. Greek philosophers taught that the question of the Earth's motion was an infinite topic, and those who raised such questions were considered fools. This is why it took a long time to accept any new scientific theory, and they were only recognized once they were fully proven. Furthermore, another reason for the lack of knowledge was that most scientific research during this period took place in Eastern regions rather than Western Europe, such as in Baghdad and Cairo, where Muslims made important contributions to astronomy, medicine, mathematics, and chemistry. However, in Europe, scientific developments faced religious and cultural obstacles, and this knowledge spread very slowly. It wasn't until the beginning of the Renaissance in Europe that the foundations of scientific research were strengthened, and after that, scientific experiments and theories were freely tested and accepted. However, the scientific experiments and research from earlier periods, which remained hidden due to these religious and social barriers, are still an important part of history today, and their influence can be seen in the subsequent scientific revolution.